Okay, what's the next? Straight on, okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, I appreciate that introduction, but I want to point out the real reasons I'm qualified to speak to you. First of all, I've got this special tie here with all kinds of fruits on it. Wasn't sure how much food there'd be, so I brought that. But if you're not satisfied, I also have this other tie with all kinds of vegetables on it. And as I tell people, if you eat these foods for 100 years, you're guaranteed to live a long time. Okay. Now, in addition to that, I have this special yarmulke here, all kinds of fruits and vegetables, spreading the word. And most important, I'm wearing Fruit of the Loom underwear.
All right.
Now, here mentioned that DVD we've made. It's called A Sacred Duty, Applying Jewish Values to Help Heal the World. Very important message, and we've given out 35,000 of them. And we now have this version here. If you'd like to get a free copy, just go over our table right here on the side. Rita is holding one up right now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I just want to point out 3 of the most important facts that we should take into account as vegetarians, as vegans, as we go forward. The first very important fact is, unfortunately, the world is presently heading toward an unprecedented climate catastrophe. And related to that are crises in water, in food, in energy, in the environment. So some very bad news there, but the very good news is that a major shift toward plant-based diets can make a major, major difference. So we've got some catastrophes out there, but we have a way that unfortunately many are overlooking to make a big, big difference. 2 very important points. The third point is that every one of us here can make a difference. We're talking not about the important individual choice, but it's a societal imperative. Okay, I wouldn't be brief on this, but there's a lot of denial out there. But here are some of the reasons I'm saying that we're heading toward a climate catastrophe. Last year, 2010, tied 2005 as the warmest year in history, and the last decade was the warmest, and it was also, last year was also the wettest. We've had floods, almost biblical proportions in Pakistan and China and Australia. Now take a look what's happening in the U.S. Major droughts in Texas and other states, that flooding in the Mississippi, tornadoes. So adding it all up, we've got record heat waves. Last July in Russia was 14 degrees Fahrenheit above the norm. Think of that, 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so warm, tremendous drought. The Russian wheat crop was decreased by 40%. So everything's connected. That's why there's a problem with food. Okay, so climate change is happening. The ice caps are melting very rapidly. The glaciers are melting far faster than the worst projection of the scientists. So what does this have to do with vegetarianism? Most people, when they think of responding to climate change, they think of changing the light bulbs, more efficient cars, carpooling, but the diet can make a major, major difference. In 2006, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization pointed out that animal-based agriculture emits more greenhouse gases than all the cars, trains, planes, ships, all the means of transportation worldwide combined. Amazing thing. Think of all the means of transportation, animal agriculture, because of the methane emitted by the 1.5 billion cows, etc., emits more greenhouse gases. And a study, November-December 2009, World Watch magazine, 2 environmentalists indicated that animal agriculture emits more, over 51%, at least 51% of the greenhouse gas emissions. So a change in diet can make a major difference, and it can do that in a very short time. because methane has a short half-life and therefore will be out of the atmosphere very, very rapidly. Okay, now in addition, and this is why I say that animal-based diets and agriculture is like madness and sheer insanity. Almost 1 billion of people, 1 in 7, is chronically hungry in the world. An estimated 20 million people die of hunger and its effects every single year. And yet, madness and sheer insanity, with all the hunger, 70% of the grain produced in the U.S. is fed to animals destined for slaughter. And over 1/3 of the grain produced worldwide is fed to animals destined for slaughter. So it's really scandalous with all that hunger that's happening. And what makes it even more scandalous is we're taking good products like corn and oats and soy, very high in fiber, complex carbohydrates, and we cycle that through animals. We lose all the fiber, just about all the complex carbohydrates, and we obtain a product high in cholesterol, high in saturated fat. So very unhealthy product. So it's kind of scandalous that hunger is going to become an increasing issue. In addition, water, the scarcity of water is becoming more prevalent throughout the world. Aquifers are being overpumped, glaciers are melting, many rivers are not reaching the sea because of climate change. We live in what some have called the century of drought. There's tremendous droughts in many areas of the world, and because of these droughts, there's far more wildfires as well. Governor Schwartz, former governor of California, stated the wildfire season used to last a few months. Now it's all year round. Okay, so again, it's scandalous. Water shortages. It takes up to 14 times as much water for a typical person on an animal-based diet than on a plant-based diet. So putting it all together, we've got a climate crisis, we've got a water crisis, food crisis, energy crisis. You need far more energy on an animal-based diet, so we can make a difference. We're now feeding not only 7 billion people. The world's population is projected to reach 7 billion people this October 2011, but also trying to feed 60 billion farmed animals, feeding them so much grain, using so much water for irrigation. By switching to plant-based diets, we can make a big, big difference. So here it is. We can have a world of abundance or a world of catastrophe. A lot of it is in our hands. It's up to every one of us to spread this message. Somebody has said, denial is not just a river in Egypt. The world is in tremendous denial today. And again, we have to get the message out. Every one of us send letters to editors, speak to your local politicians, speak to your local priests, rabbis, ministers, imams, etc., and spread the message that it's 100% essential that there be a major societal shift to plant-based diets in order to move our very imperiled world to a sustainable path. Thank you very much.